In the labyrinth of philosophical thought, Friedrich Nietzsche's Übermensch stands as a provocative figure challenging conventional notions of morality and individuality. This video delves into the profound intersection between Nietzsche's Übermensch and the concept of masculinity, arguing that this philosophical archetype represents the apex of what it means to be a man. As we navigate through the rich tapestry of Nietzschean philosophy, we'll explore how the Übermensch transcends societal expectations, redefines values, and emerges as a liberating force in the quest for authentic masculinity. The traditional construct of masculinity has been deeply entrenched in societal expectations, often constricting men into predefined roles. Masculinity, as traditionally understood, has been associated with attributes such as strength, dominance, and stoicism. These attributes, however, represent a narrow view of manhood that Nietzsche seeks to challenge through the Übermensch. Unlike the stoic and unyielding stereotype, the Übermensch transcends the conventional masculine paradigm, emphasizing the importance of individuality over conformity. The Übermensch, as the peak of masculinity, embraces a more expansive understanding of strength, one that goes beyond physical prowess to encompass mental fortitude, resilience, and the capacity to navigate the complexities of life with grace and wisdom. While physical strength remains relevant, the Übermensch recognizes the importance of mental fortitude and resilience. This shift underscores the idea that true strength encompasses a holistic approach, one that involves emotional intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with both grace and wisdom. Crucially, the Übermensch rejects the notion of dominance as a defining feature of masculinity. In the traditional paradigm, dominance often implies the exertion of power over others, emphasizing control and authority. In contrast, the Übermensch seeks a different form of mastery, one that is internal. Mastery over oneself becomes the focal point, emphasizing self-awareness, self-control, and a deep understanding of one's own desires and motivations. Furthermore, the Übermensch's rejection of external dominance is rooted in a recognition of the limitations and pitfalls associated with traditional power dynamics. The Übermensch understands that true strength lies not in dominating others but in fostering authentic connections, understanding, and cooperation. This perspective aligns with Nietzsche's critique of what he termed slave morality, challenging the established norms that may lead to the oppression of others in the pursuit of dominance. Central to Nietzsche's philosophy is the idea of self-creation and the rejection of imposed moralities. Traditional masculinity often adheres to a set of predefined values, shaping men into a mold that may not align with their authentic selves. The Übermensch is not beholden to external moral frameworks but rather engages in a process of continual self-overcoming. This self-overcoming involves the courage to question and discard inherited values that do not resonate with one's inner truth. In the realm of masculinity, this implies liberation from societal expectations that may stifle individuality. Moreover, the Übermensch's rejection of external moralities allows for a more dynamic and inclusive understanding of what it means to be a man. Rather than adhering to a fixed moral code, the Übermensch embraces a fluid and evolving set of values that align with his authentic nature. This dynamic approach challenges the rigidity associated with traditional masculinity, fostering an environment where men are free to express their uniqueness without fear of deviating from societal norms. One of Nietzsche's most profound insights is the idea of transcending the conventional notions of good and evil. The Übermensch, as the embodiment of this transcendence, presents a vision of masculinity that goes beyond the simplistic hero-villain dichotomy. Traditional masculinity often casts men into archetypal roles, the virtuous hero or the villainous antagonist. This binary representation limits the depth and complexity of male identity. The Übermensch, by transcending moral binaries, embraces the multifaceted nature of masculinity. He recognizes that true authenticity lies in the ability to navigate the gray areas of morality, acknowledging the complexity of human experience. This nuanced understanding of good and evil allows the Übermensch to approach life with a sense of moral responsibility that extends beyond societal expectations. In the realm of masculinity, this means acknowledging vulnerability, embracing empathy, and cultivating a profound sense of moral agency. The Übermensch's rejection of simplistic moral narratives contributes to a more holistic and authentic portrayal of masculinity, one that acknowledges the inherent contradictions and complexities of the human experience. The Übermensch's emphasis on creative individualism challenges the static and monolithic representation of masculinity prevalent in society. Traditional masculinity often implies adherence to established roles and behaviors, leaving little room for authentic self-expression. The Übermensch, however, encourages a constant process of self-creation and evolution. Creative individualism, in the context of masculinity, involves the freedom to explore and express the full spectrum of one's identity. The Übermensch, as the peak of masculinity, rejects the notion of a fixed and unchanging identity. Instead, he embraces a fluid and dynamic sense of self that adapts to the ever-changing landscapes of life. This emphasis on creative individualism not only liberates men from the constraints of societal expectations but also fosters a more inclusive and diverse understanding of masculinity. The Übermensch's willingness to explore and embrace different facets of his identity opens up new possibilities for self-expression, challenging the limitations imposed by rigid gender norms. Traditionally, masculinity has been linked with a resistance to change, often tied to the preservation of established norms and a reluctance to deviate from traditional roles and expectations. The Übermensch, in stark contrast, exemplifies the courage to embrace change. Rooted in the philosophy of self-overcoming, the Übermensch recognizes that personal growth and enlightenment necessitate a willingness to adapt and evolve. The courage exhibited by the Übermensch goes beyond individual transformation. It is a catalyst for a more progressive and enlightened version of masculinity. In embracing change, the Übermensch challenges the rigid and outdated representations of manhood that have prevailed for generations. By doing so, he creates a space where men can break free from the constraints of traditional expectations, allowing for the expression of vulnerability, empathy, and creativity without compromising their inherent identity. This courage to embrace change is not merely a personal endeavor but contributes to a broader societal shift. The Übermensch becomes a symbol of forward-thinking masculinity, inspiring others to question and transcend antiquated norms. As societal expectations evolve, the Übermensch's courage becomes a guiding light, beckoning towards a masculinity unbound by the limitations of the past. Moreover, the Übermensch's courage to embrace change encourages a paradigm shift in the collective understanding of masculinity. It challenges the notion that vulnerability is a weakness, that empathy is a deviation from strength, and that creativity is incongruent with traditional manhood. By embracing these qualities, the Übermensch pioneers a more inclusive and holistic vision of masculinity, one that celebrates the richness of human experience and the diversity of individual expression. Traditional masculinity often places an emphasis on independence and emotional detachment. The Übermensch, however, recognizes the importance of empathy and connection. By understanding and appreciating the experiences of others, he forges meaningful connections that extend beyond superficial notions of dominance. This empathetic approach challenges the stoic and unfeeling portrayal of masculinity, promoting a more compassionate and understanding perspective. This redefinition of masculine relationships contributes to a more compassionate and egalitarian society, where men are not confined by outdated expectations but are free to engage in meaningful and authentic connections with others. In the vast tapestry of Nietzschean philosophy, the Übermensch emerges as a revolutionary archetype, challenging and redefining traditional notions of masculinity. As we traverse through the nuanced landscape of self-defined values, the transcendence of good and evil, creative individualism, the courage to embrace change, and the cultivation of empathy, the Übermensch stands as the pinnacle of what it means to be a man. The Übermensch, as the peak of masculinity, liberates men from the constraints of societal expectations, fostering a vision of manhood that is authentic, dynamic, and inclusive. In a world that is continually evolving, the Übermensch becomes a guiding light, a symbol of progress, self-discovery, and the boundless potential that lies within each individual to transcend, overcome, and redefine the very essence of masculinity.